Hi, and welcome back to Learning Together by Grace. This is Rebecca, and today we are going to be talking about 5 homeschool myths. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, myth number 1. You have to have a degree in order to be a homeschool teacher. That, my friends, is not true. And actually, I have a friend who homeschooled her children, and she actually did not have a degree. She didn't even have her high school diploma. However, she did a really good job with homeschooling her children. The thing is that you need to have the wherewithal to find the information to help your children. You also need to know your strengths and your weaknesses. So the areas that you may not be as strong in, ask for help. Ask someone that you know is really good at maybe math. Ask someone that you know is really good at writing to give you some pointers. And y'all, nowadays we have YouTube. You can learn everything on YouTube. Use it to your advantage. Google it, YouTube it. You guys, it is so easy to get the information that you need. Myth number 2. Okay, I just recently got asked this. Is it easier to homeschool your children because you're a former teacher? And I said no with the biggest laugh possible, because it is not necessarily easy to homeschool just because I used to teach. I was at coffee with another lady who also has her master's in curriculum and instruction, and we were both asked that question together, and we both giggled and said no, because it's really not. And the reason being, it's a few things. Number 1, we are coming from, like for me, public school and private school. For her, private school, and the systems are set up a certain way. You have this pressure almost to perform. You have this pressure to meet certain goals, or you can potentially be let go. And that actually has happened to me. So with that being said, being a former teacher, I kind of brought that over into homeschooling and tried to implement those same rigor routines that I had. And honestly, it stressed me out, and it stressed my children out, and it stressed my husband out. So I have since changed all of that, okay? But another thing is that these are your children, and because they're your children, sometimes they don't want to listen. Let's just keep it real. They don't want to listen to you, and they want to give you pushback because your mom or your dad or grandma, grandpa, whomever you may be, they have more of a difficult time with learning from you. So it can be challenging as a former teacher to homeschool, or even as a parent to homeschool, because of that reason. Myth number 3, you have to use a set curriculum to homeschool. That, my friends, is not true. Do a research on homeschool curriculum and you will see all of the things come up. There is so much homeschool curriculum out there, it is not even funny. Now, what I will say is that each state does have what subjects you should be teaching. For instance, here in Texas, I have to do reading, writing, math, history, science, and citizenship. And in California, it was pretty much the same thing. And so you would just need to check with your state's homeschool policies to know exactly what their requirements are for you to teach your children. Now, again, going back to needing curriculum, no, I am creating my own curriculum for my children this year, and it's been going pretty well for them. It's a lot of work for me, but it's going pretty well for them. And also in the past, I used curriculum. Now, right now, I am using a math curriculum that is not something that I'm creating. So you can do a mix of the two. You can create your own. You can use some curriculum out there. I mean, it's just whatever is best for you and your family. So always remember that. Myth number 4, you have to do some kind of book work every day. That, my friends, is the joy of homeschooling. No, you do not necessarily have to do bookwork every single day. There should be learning going on, but learning looks different for everyone. For instance, back in February of 2021, my family, along with another family, we took a trip to Yosemite. And during the month of February, we learned all things Yosemite. We watched videos, we read some books. I mean, we incorporated science, history, even math, language arts, reading. We incorporated all of those subjects into our Yosemite unit study. And then we went to Yosemite for like 4 or 5 days, y'all. And that was probably our most memorable homeschool experience. It was amazing. Oh, we also did that for the Grand Canyon too. So the Grand Canyon and Yosemite. And it was just, I mean, my kids, they still remember like the different waterfalls, the mountains. They remember the different plants and animals that are there. They remember that because it was real life to them. So again, no, you do not have to do bookwork every day in order for it to count as homeschool. All right, myth number 5. There is no room for socialization. So when I first started telling people that I was homeschooling, the question of how are your children going to be socialized was asked all the time. All the time. And so, you know, when I started homeschooling, it was during the pandemic, so nobody was socializing. Let's just keep it real. So it wasn't a huge thing for me in that moment. However, as time went on, I began to put my children in things like gymnastics, Ninja Warriors class, baseball, soccer, and they are actually going to be joining a 4-H club group soon. So there are times for socialization. And on top of that, if we keep it real, if I go back to my time in the public school system or the private school system, there really weren't a lot of opportunities for socialization with the exception of recess time and maybe a little bit during lunch. But even with lunchtime, the proctors, they were very particular about the children focusing on eating and then getting out the door. So I know in the classrooms you have think, pair, share. You have, just different activities that you're supposed to do in order to get your students talking. However, with a class of 33 kindergartners, that's not the easiest thing to do. So socialization wasn't going on as much as people would care to think that it is in the public school system. If you are getting your children involved in activities and sports and clubs, your local church, things of that nature, they are going to be socialized. When you get together with family and friends, they will have socialization activities. My children play outside with our neighborhood children, and so they are getting the socialization that they need. And even when we go out and about to the store, to the mall, people are always talking to them. And so they always have the opportunity to socialize. All right, y'all. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that if you've been on the fence and even been kind of like questioning your neighbor or your friend or your sister or somebody that's homeschooling, I hope that this debunks some of your myths. I have found that with homeschooling my children, that I am able to really be intentional about them thoroughly learning and understanding, and then using that knowledge for their day-to-day life. So I hope this encouraged you. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that is thinking about homeschooling. Come back again for more. Bye.